Immigration law tends to break down into three separate areas of practice. One area would be sort of the traditional family, citizenship, and those kinds of things, where someone's here on a visitor or student visa, gets married to an American citizen, files for a green card, waits a certain time frame, and files to become a U.S. citizen. Those kinds of things fit under the family category. The next one would be sort of the deportation, defense, and asylum type situations, and that's more, I guess, the closest thing that we have in immigration law to litigation. There's an immigration judge that makes those decisions. Sometimes it's the Asylum Office of USCIS, which is the Agency of Homeland Security that actually processes immigration applications. And that side tends to be one that lends itself to a pretty heavy focus. So for someone to be doing deportation defense and asylum work, a lot of times that's where their focus is and where most of their cases are. The third segment would be employment and investment-based immigration, which is a company has a need for an employee from outside the U.S. that has a certain skill set that they need, or someone is maybe one of the best in the world at what they do, whether it's in athletics or entertainment, something along those lines. And also the investor side of things, where someone has amasses fairly significant net worth outside the United States and would like to use some of that net worth to immigrate to the U.S., whether it's through business ownership and investment or investing with third-party companies that become sponsors for immigration benefits. And a lot of firms that do the employment and investment side, that's all they do. In our firm, just because of the way that my opportunity in the immigration business sort of developed, I was given exposure and opportunity to work on cases from each of those three pods. Pretty much everyone that does immigration has some experience with the family and naturalization side of things. So I've had a fair amount of experience doing that, and we do a lot of that with our firm. A high percentage of the cases that we work on are in that area. But I also was, for my first firm, the primary attorney for close to 3 years, handling all of our deportation defense and asylum cases, and frankly tried a lot of cases, a career's worth of cases for some people during that very short time span. I'm very grateful for that opportunity, even though it was very challenging at the time to do that much court work. And then the third, the firm that I worked for at the beginning of my career in this industry, was actually representing some of the very large employers in the area that needed a lot of technical employees with engineering backgrounds and things of that nature. So the work visa side of things was pretty heavy. And I was sort of the go-to attorney in that firm for all of the green card sponsorship and all of the investor type visas that we processed. So in that short 3-year time span, I was given exposure to literally hundreds and hundreds of fact patterns in each of those different areas, which I was able to carry into my second opportunity, which was an of-counsel role for a different immigration boutique firm that did no litigation at the time. I was able to take that on for them and also continue on the employment investment side and the family side with that firm until 2007, when I started Davis & Associates. And at that time was able to bring all of that experience and expertise into my own practice. And so we're actually a full service, one of the few full service immigration firms in the state, in that we offer and have a group of individuals that are professionals that focus on the family immigration side of things. We have another group that focuses on the deportation defense and asylum side of things. And then we also have an excellent team on the employment and investment side of things. And so we're able to take on whatever the situation is, whatever the path is, if there is one, we are equipped not only to help those that consult with us discover that path or that option, explore it, go deeper into whether or not it makes sense to go down that path, but also can help with actually executing on that plan and on that strategy. And so it's a real blessing for me as the owner of the firm to be able to have the confidence to know that we've got a fantastic team in each of those segments of immigration law, and that we can find the path and execute on that path. It's not uncommon for us to be in a deportation defense scenario in which we have an employment and investment option to survive deportation, which sounds a little strange, but If you're working with a firm that doesn't have that capability and that breadth of knowledge, you may lose out on that opportunity to find that little bit more creative strategy and approach, which at David and Associates we can help you execute. Not only find, but also execute.